So basically,
there is no God.
There is no God. There never was a fucking God. Unless you believe that God is a representation of the universe, 'cause that's what I believe in. If a church is forcing you to... Please close the blind. People are going to be freaked out by that. Close the fucking blind. I'll start that over again. If a church is forcing you to believe in a non-apparent God, then tell them to fucking fuck. Bunch of cunts, fucking cunts. See, what people can't actually think of is that God actually isn't a being. That is one thing that people just can't get through their heads. That God is actually a concept. It's an idea thought up by someone thousands of years ago who was very angry and wanted a load of power. So he thought... Well, he was quite rich at the time, but he wanted more power than he thought, so... Basically, what he wanted to do was control all of the people's minds because their IQs were lower than his, so he made up a god.
He made up a
god.
What's a god, the people asked?
Well, a god is a representation of human life. You see, what a human does is that he doesn't actually notice that the existence of his actual life is a dirt poor piece of shite, because life is quite dull.
Because people don't understand. They can't think for themselves, so they will believe in a non-existent force. A non-existent force.
We will always be much more human than we wish to be.
Motherfucker! Bitch! So they start to make up rules and laws constantly complain what happened in the past, then you're just a fucking wanker who deserves to die, to die, 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 die!
I need to write down all these rules that I just made up. Black servant boy, fetch me my quill.
There you go.
The most racist point of the song.
Home slice.
Well, we can go back a little further than that.
One of the first real cultures of the world was the Egyptians.
The Egyptians.
They took nature and personified it and animalized it into gods. Big massive gods!
But what they also did was make embodiments of men into gods as well. So if you were born of a royal lineage, you were a pharaoh, and if you were a pharaoh, you were worshipped as a Millions of years later, people kept on believing in the whole idea that nature and shit is a god, until one day someone thought, if you really didn't want the rest of the world to expand in religions, instead of a whole pantheon of gods, what you do is, no, you make a monotheistic doctrine. And they were called the Dead Sea Scrolls. Well, back then it was called the Torah, and that's what the Jews believed in. You see, in the Torah, a very, very powerful Jew said that Jews are the chosen people, but there are no chosen people. But if you want to say that the chosen people, you'd probably say that the first real known occurrence of people was actually Negroes in Africa. But that's actually true, because apparently the Garden of Eden was supposed to be situated in Africa, because it is technically a paradise on earth, except for the infrastructure, which is a bit fucked up ever since the white people started taking over and stealing all the people's money and shit. You know what they're like. You do know what they're like, don't you? Yes, you do.
Probably all white.
You're probably not even listening. So, in Israel, they followed the one God thing, because apparently Moses, and if you do believe in the whole idea that Moses actually did exist, he was apparently brought by God as a prophet, or whatever you want to fucking call him. I like to call him a big, dirty fucking queer! You're a queer!
It's a massive queer!
I mean, Google! Yahoo! Now, Israel was probably, at this point, probably one of the biggest major superpowers in the world, next to Babylon, didn't Alexander come from Babylon, or whatever, but Babylon soon kind of faded away into existence, because around that time, around Israel, and, you know, kind of the Far East, there was a kind of a big, massive power in the world. And then Alexander the Great, you know, he went went around and conquered loads of places, cut some knot or some shite like that, and deserved some power. So what the Jewish people decided to do was make the idea of a human personified God, which is apparent in every major religion. The idea of human personified God. But then, one of the major other superpowers in our world, which was just picking up, was Rome. They conquered all the world, taking over every country, making a political party in Israel. So what then, basically, the idea of a human personified God sort of came in at around this time when Israel was being conquered, so that Jesus, whatever, so Jesus came and told everyone that he was God's son or something like that, but he did a load of good things and they crucified him. Now here's the problem with the whole crucifixion thing. Yes, crucifixion did happen, it was a bad thing, but Jesus was crucified, but did he suffer? I don't think so, because apparently he was a god, and also I don't really think that Jesus was crucified, because it also says in another book in the Bible